In the previous episode, we introduced arboricultural practices and how they support the health and function of the urban forest. Before we explore specific practices like pruning, planting, or risk assessment, we need to understand something more fundamental. We need to understand how trees actually function. Because every decision an arborist makes is based on tree biology. If you understand how a tree grows, how it responds to stress, and how it defends itself, you can make better decisions in the field. If you do not, even well-intentioned actions can cause long-term harm. So today, we're going to step back and look at the basics of tree biology, not from a textbook perspective, but from a practical arborist's perspective. What do you actually need to know to care for trees in an urban environment? Let's start with structure. A tree has three main parts: roots, trunk, and crown. Each part has a specific role. The roots anchor the tree and absorb water and nutrients from the soil. The trunk provides structural support and transports water and sugars. The crown, which includes branches and leaves, is where photosynthesis happens. Photosynthesis is one of the most important processes in tree biology. Leaves use sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to produce sugars. These sugars are the tree's energy source. They fuel growth, maintenance, and defense. This is why leaf area matters. More healthy leaves generally mean more energy production. And that energy supports everything else the tree does. Now let's talk about movement within the tree. Trees move water and nutrients upward through a tissue called xylem. Water is pulled from the roots to the leaves through a process driven by evaporation, also called transpiration. At the same time, sugars produced in the leaves move throughout the tree through another tissue called phloem. This movement allows energy to be distributed to roots, stems, and growing tissues. Understanding this system helps explain why certain practices matter. For example, when too many leaves are removed during pruning, the tree loses energy production capacity. When roots are damaged during construction, the tree loses its ability to absorb water and nutrients. Everything is connected. Now let's look at growth. Trees grow in two main ways. They grow in length, and they grow in diameter. Length growth happens at the tips of branches and roots. Diameter growth happens in a layer called the cambium. The cambium produces new cells that increase the thickness of the trunk and branches. This is what creates annual growth rings. These growth patterns are important for arborists. They help explain how trees respond to pruning. When you remove a branch, the tree does not heal like humans do. Instead, it seals off the wound through a process called compartmentalization. This process was described in a model known as CODIT, which stands for Compartmentalization of Decay in Trees. Trees create barriers that limit the spread of decay. They do not repair damaged tissue. They isolate it. This is why proper pruning cuts are critical. A correct cut allows the tree to effectively compartmentalize the wound. A poor cut can lead to decay spreading further into the tree. Now let's talk about roots, because roots are often misunderstood. Most tree roots are located in the upper layers of soil. They spread outward, often far beyond the canopy. Roots need oxygen, water, and space. In urban environments, these conditions are often limited. Soil compaction reduces oxygen availability. Restricted planting spaces limit root growth. Poor soil conditions reduce water infiltration. This is why urban trees often struggle. Not because of what we see above ground, but because of what is happening below ground. Understanding root systems is essential for arboriculture. It influences how we plant trees, how we manage soil, and how we protect trees during construction. For the ISA Urban Forest Professional Exam, remember that arboricultural practices are grounded in tree biology. You should understand how trees produce and use energy, how water and nutrients move through the tree, how trees grow in height and diameter, how trees respond to injury through compartmentalization, and how root systems function in urban environments. Many exam questions will test your ability to apply biological concepts to real-world situations. Tree biology is the foundation of arboriculture. Every pruning cut, every planting decision, and every management action should be based on an understanding of how trees function. In the next podcast, we'll build on this foundation by looking at how trees respond to pruning, and how arborists use pruning to guide structure, reduce risk, and improve long-term tree health. You've been listening to the Arborist-podcast. Our goal is to grow our collective knowledge, one domain at a time. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to help us keep this momentum. Until next time, let's keep growing this community together.